whether it's good or bad, and where it can lead us. We'll talk about that with the leading analyst of InnoStage, Veronika Mironova. Veronika, it's over to you.
Не, ну у нас так можно, на самом деле. Здрасте, Вероника.
Всем привет, друзья! Как у вас настроение? Отлично, спасибо.
Hi everyone.
На самом деле вы даже не
Do you like it here?
какой классный
And it's actually great.
вы сегодня сделали. На
Do
пути
you really understand the importance of the step you made today for your own
фестиваль.
cybersecurity? You attend
И дает классные
EH Days,
навыки всем
which is a great festival that allows
самым взрослым.
everyone from children to real experts get more skills and knowledge.
Пожалуйста, если
So
у
first
вас
of all,
есть хотя бы один
Please
знакомый Zoom,
applaud if you have at least one Zoomer friend, maybe
хорошо.
someone from your family, maybe you have a friend. Okay, so the majority
Зумеры
are connected to Zoomers in some way. So today we will discuss how those young, creative, inspired boys and girls make some mistakes.
сегодня мы также поговорим о том,
Today we will also discuss how
дает нам статистика, какие настоящие
we can interpret statistics,
темы
what
готовы поделиться.
true facts I learned about this, and what I can share with you today.
Сказала,
So
что
first of all,
рост цифровизации
I would say that
первое, и, наверное,
the growth of digitalization is the first and one of the major problems connected with both opportunities and risks. At the same time, we have to understand that Zoomers are active users and they use internet while in classes in school, they use
с этим
them during their free time. So
как же
in
правильно
connection with this, everyone has to understand how to treat their digital resources.
недооцениваете свой
If,
цифровой след, то
For
делаете
whatever reason, you
очень зря.
do not, if you underestimate your digital footprint, well,
И с большой
this is not a very good
сделаем это
strategy
завтра и
because
делаем
everyone has digital footprint online. We do this today, we did it for a few years before, and we will continue to do so in the future. So you can prove anything with numbers. This is what was said by a famous author, by a famous writer. So that's why we'll use statistics.
Для начала
And this is what I will talk about in my presentation. My name is Veronika Mironova. I'm lead methodologist analyst at InnoStage. At the same time, I'm a professor. I teach teenagers from different digital background, different habits and different nationalities. And because of that, I can speak about this topic. So since I have the experience.
Основа — это
So,
статистика.
dear friends,
Я провела опрос.
statistics is the fundamentals. I had a survey where a few hundred respondents answered several questions. Through these statistics, I learned about the main mistakes. At the same time, we have the good news and we will cover them later. And we'll also talk about interesting cases. So, what do you think? Is online reputation important or not?
Поактивничать, да, понимаю, у вас
Let's have some
удобные места.
physical activity. I do understand that you like your soft chairs, but please, by raise a hand, show if you care about online reputation.
Супер, хорошо.
Okay, great. We have some hands
Я с вами
raised.
согласна, поэтому сегодня
And I agree.
лайк, шер, провал.
That is why I'm talking about like, share, fail.
О том, с чем мы
And this is about what we have in our pockets, what we interact with. And like a single post or a single comment, repost can completely change our life, and unfortunately not in a good way.
Я очень часто задаюсь вопросом цифровой идентичности.
Many times I ask myself about digital identity or digital identification when we learn about different people in environment, especially digital environment. Like we have zodiac signs, MBTI
И сегодня
test, personality tests, and the same I would like to use here.
или даже
Who are you on the network? Or who is the modern Zoomer in the internet?
оказалось,
So this is the first question.
оказалось больше всего.
It turns out the stalkers are the predominant part of the group. Usually stalkers, they do not post anything. Sometimes they post, sometimes they comment, they can look for different stories. And these are the people who assess our actions on the internet. Sometimes they think about it, most of the times they don't. And then we have more active people For example, they are authors. They post or create content, they post stories, images, photos, videos, they share their life online. And it's cool. A little bit less active are commentators. These people are usually using the internet, and you can find them on different discussion forums. You can learn about their opinion, and sometimes they have internet battles. And finally, guests. I would say those are mythical creatures that are very rarely using digital devices. Or maybe someone wants just to hide their identity and they decided to choose guest. So now let's delineate our audience. And by the way, look left, right, and smile and wave. First of all, please wave if you think that you are an author, if you are actively sharing your content with the rest of the world. Great. Now let's move to one of the extremes. Would you call yourself a guest on the internet? Like you are just a guest in the internet? Just one person, one single clap. Well, we have to understand that we are different. Like in life, we prefer different ways to behave and how we show our character. The same happens online. And you must agree that with the growth of digitalization, personal is not private anymore. And whatever we have in our lives can become visible to the rest of the world. And this is what usually happens with celebrities, but we normal non-celebrity people, this is a little bit different. So here is what I'm talking about. I am that very pedantic teacher at school who wants to talk about some very deep philosophical position, to look at the problem from different points of view and think what students are thinking about. So one time, I had, let's say, a little obscene comment of my student. Then I saw questionable publication stories and photos. And then I started to have an abstract discussion in terms of privacy on the internet. To answer the question, why do teenagers do this? I have multiple answers. Some people say they don't really care, nobody cares about me or my life. Some said this is only for friends, and some said this is only for fans. But even if we upload this to the internet, even if it's private page, it's always a door. And any door, even if it's locked, even if it's a safe door, it can be opened with different tools. At the same time, I learned that about 42% of respondents really believe in the function to delete both for you and for the other users. So suppose you send something wrong in the wrong chat and you can remove it. But we have to understand that there are many people who are very fast on the internet. So whatever we send might actually leave some traces, even if we delete it. Unfortunately, the function to delete for you and for the user, for the person you're talking to, is very trusted by teenagers. And I think this is a very big pitfall. So we have passports, we have digital avatars, we have our profiles, we have our pages. Where do they store all this information? And you can easily find this online, open access. So now, once again, let's try and have some interaction. Dear please raise your hand if you Googled your name, surname online. Okay, we are very active people here in the middle. You raise your hand, especially here, and yep, teenagers
63% зумеров гуглили
63% of Zoomers Googled them at least once. They wanted to learn
можно составить,
what kind of digital profile they could have, what kind of opinion you could come to if you put together all those pieces. And about 70% deleted this information. Maybe they found some old images or comments they wanted to delete or they do not want to make public. Or maybe they just had some emotional posts and they found them, removed them. But unfortunately, not everyone thought about this.
До этого шага действительно доходят не все.
It actually takes a while to make this step.
Нужно задаваться вопросом, а насколько
At the same time,
найти
ask yourself, is it easy to find some information about me?
В подготовке к своему докладу я решила провести
To
небольшой
prepare for this presentation, I ran a simple experiment. I googled my name and surname,
сделала 3 клика,
just a few words, then I clicked
где я живу.
a few times, and
Вы
I was able to
то же самое.
find my location, my physical address. And you can do the same. I tried to remove all the information online, but you have to understand that we are the same, and the information online is stored basically in the same place.
Всем любопытные люди. И если они
And there are even more peculiar people, and if they
могут найти информацию,
do a little bit more clicks, they can find how much money I earn.
утечки
and it-
персональных данных, какие-то сливы, взломы.
Data leaks,
Это
databases,
того, где мы можем найти
different documents are leaked, and this is where you can find information about yourself and your friends and other people. Sometimes this can be useful, but just to realize that
страшно.
everyone in the world has access to my data is actually very scary.
В своем опросе я также попросила ребят
In my survey,
какой-то
I asked teenagers to share an interesting story that would
реальности и о том, как она влияет
talk
на нашу
about this online reality and how it affects our offline life and our behavior.
разных историй.
And I've got a few stories. Some of them were positive, some of them were negative. So, for example,
вы можете ознакомиться
here
с разными кейсами.
you can see that
В
someone wanted to remove a post from personal Telegram channel because
человек
the reputation of the university they were in
порочит репутацию.
were
вуза.
negative because of that post.
Страшно. Было непонятно.
The author of the Telegram channel was actually
Канал, посмотрели
a little bit scary.
и после
How did this happen? How and why do people from the university got to his Telegram channel?
которых он сам не знает.
And then he realized that whatever he posted was seen by people he never knew. His target audience was significantly smaller than it turned out to be. Then there is a different case. One of the videos that was uploaded to YouTube,
вопроса в мем.
and then the person became a meme.
Детей, до преподавателей, до родителей.
His friends, his parents, teachers saw this meme,
Неловкость, непонимание.
and
и
it's
какая-то, ну, я
shame,
не очень
misunderstanding,
была.
and quite negative emotional experience.
Кроме того, был еще один случай, когда человек
Next point.
неосознанно стал узнаваемым на улице. Он снялся
The person became
видео на Ютубе,
a sort of celebrity,
начали подходить людям.
and people started approaching him on the streets. In the beginning, it was curious, it was kind of funny, but then it became a little bit scary because there are people you do not know,
Уже знают больше, чем ты о них.
but they know much more about you compared to you. So this asymmetric
Неравномерный
information,
некоторый дисконтроль ситуации.
and you basically lose control of this situation and
Пример, где
you have no idea who approaches you. And finally, there was a lady who tracked
своих сторис, и после этого,
one of his friends, and
как итог, свидание, а после этого и счастливые отношения.
she saw that he saw her stories, and then they were able to communicate in direct messages, and now they are a couple. So maybe it was a good story.
А теперь
Now we've talked about how virtual reality affects our day-to-day life. But now let's talk about the future, what we can achieve and what can be an obstacle on the way.
да,
Dear friends, if you can say yes answering to the question, if digital reputation affects your career or not. Or by raise of hand or by
Примерно половина,
your
даже больше согласен,
applause,
что
if you
социальная
agree.
действительно влияет на карьеру.
It is true, digital reputation affects your career. And now let's delve a little bit deeper.
Расскажу еще одну небольшую историю. Она из
Here is a
моего
little
личного опыта.
story
Я общалась со
from my personal experience.
которая поделилась случаем.
I had a conversation with one of other professors,
Института. Выпуск
and she said that there was a student, a female student.
дружелюбно,
She
компетентна,
looks good,
у неё
she's
был опыт
competent,
работы в сфере,
she
хотела устроиться
had straight A's,
в своем небольшом городе.
and she wanted to have a job in her local town. But unfortunately, she did not get the job. And as you can imagine,
К этому опросу
the reason was for her digital activity.
ей
She
заявили,
also said
что её
that
фотографии
she was told that her photos do not
У каждого из нас могут быть разные
represent or are not in line with
но мы
the
должны
position of a teacher.
один важный вывод.
We all can have different opinions on this, but we
Или, наоборот,
must
препятствия
agree that digital
к нашему развитию.
image, your digital reputation is a key for your future development.
Сегодня
And statistics is even more telling here. Zoomers do not really understand how HRs, how people
и
they want to work for care about online behavior. And not many people know about
для того,
how
чтобы
HRs look for
в онлайне. Еще
potential candidates and learn how they
обязан спрашивать
what they do online.
на поиск ваших данных.
And you don't have to ask for permission to Google your name and surname,
Можно найти много
because if you file them in your CV,
вернетесь немножко назад,
you can Google this person and learn about this person a lot,
а вообще
about their digital print, about the images and videos and everything they uploaded before.
где-то
And it's
авантюру, где-то риск.
in general, our teenagers are amazing.
Примерно треть
They are
ответивших
loving life, they are loving risk and adventure. And about a third of people said that this is my life and I upload whatever I want. And this is what characterizes at least one third, or maybe even more, of the generation.
Мы любим
And it means that teenagers are open, they want to share it, and it's easier to share it through the internet. But when we're talking about digital reputation, it's a little bit different. It's not about if you can or cannot. Then we're talking about consequences or even ramifications. Maybe it will be connected with serious risks for your career or for life. And here is another set of examples for potential career hunting. Three of them are connected with candidates, and the final one from the HR side, where they share that they actually declined a candidate because of their online position and because of because of channels they're subscribed to. So even if you do not follow this, even if it's an old repost, an old comment, image, this is stored online and the internet remembers everything.
Итак, если все понимают, как
If everybody understands how to use the internet correctly, or what kind of risks can occur when we use it, why do Zoomers still, and even older generations, still make mistakes? I think that the reason, and first and foremost, is that knowledge does not equate skills. When we learn, we have to change and turn this knowledge into skills. We have to learn and actually use it at the same time. So, for example, you've learned that you can learn about your physical address in 3 clicks. And maybe in 5 or 10 clicks, you can learn about your salary. So maybe after this PhD 2025, you can look up yourself online. Maybe you can even delete some of those posts just to protect your digital reputation. Next, when we educate ourselves and other people, it's not about prohibition, it's about education, it's about enlightenment, it's about analogies, it's about metaphors, so that people would actually understand how it is important to educate people who are your peers, who are younger, who are older, how to protect and how to maintain your digital immunity. But at the same time, we have to realize that
личной ответственностью.
personal responsibility is a must.
О вас в интернете ответственны вы.
You are responsible for whatever is stored about you online. Whatever is searchable online is also your responsibility. And it also means that, unfortunately, it will be your consequences to face.
Кроме того, осознавая цифровые риски,
Moreover,
делайте себя более
understanding digital risks, you will become more flexible and you will be faster to respond. Once you know what kind of information can be found about you online, you will be able to predict potential questions and you have ready answers. So, for example, if you know that the name and surname of your parents can be found online,
сотрудник банка,
then anyone who can call you,
за которым
especially from a bank, is not necessarily
можно найти.
an operator from the bank, because this information can be found online. You know this risk and you know what you can do if or when it happens.
О том, есть ли у вас знакомые зумеры, подростки, люди помладше.
You said that you have
Не только обучать их
people from Zoomer generation.
настоящую цифровую гигиену,
It's not, and when we talk about this younger generation, it's not just about education. It's more about digital hygiene. It's more about habits, so that it has to come from within and it has to come from a younger age. And finally,
не забывайте,
when you care about yourself, do not forget to care about people you care for.
и полезно, и
Those can be relatives, parents, your friends,
я вам не
and
сказала вначале, но я хочу вам
you have positive emotions, but you also have positive results.
в том, что вы
And here's a gift.
конкретных вопросов, которые можно задать.
You will get a number of questions, a set of questions you can ask yourself before you like, repost, comment, or subscribe to anything.
А вы бы показали
First and foremost,
своей бабушке,
would you show this to your grandmother, whatever you want to
как она
post,
отреагирует?
or not?
Может быть, будет ругаться,
What would be her reaction? What would be her response? Maybe she would laugh at you, maybe she would not understand you. But this question actually
разно постить то, что вы собираетесь.
discloses the importance of what we want to post.
А сказал бы я
Second question,
озвучил
would I say this
я эту идею,
offline?
говорил с кем-то,
Would
но
I be able to stand up and talk and say this to someone else's face directly? If it's no, well, probably you should not post it online.
скажем так, маркер цифрового чека.
And the third stage of this sieve
своих
is to
аккаунтов,
audit
информации, которая хранится
your
опять
online
про 3 клика.
accounts. And obviously you have to remember about the 3-click approach. If it's easy to get
Поэтому перед тем, как
personal data
задайте
or
себе
not.
вопрос, для чего
So
вообще?
when you are about to post anything,
Какая у этого цель?
stop for a few seconds and ask yourself, why do I upload this? Why do I post this? If you cannot answer this question,
Рановато.
probably you should not upload it. Probably you should not post it. Maybe you should think about it, and probably it will help you
Забывайте о том,
avoid
что
a digital mistake.
вырванные из
And finally,
Поэтому
any
старайтесь
message
контролировать всё так,
can
чтобы ваши
be
сообщения
taken out of context. So
изменить, исправить,
try and formulate your message in a way so that it cannot be taken out of context and it will be taken completely in the opposite way.
будущее
Dear
цифровое,
friends,
то и
since
взросление должно
the future will be digital, we will have to have a digital upbringing too.
прошу вас
In my presentation, I do not ask you to remove something or stop your social media activity or
Я предлагаю
just go and become a hermit in the forest. I ask you to become more aware about your activity, more aware of your digital reputation, and that your digital reputation depends only on you and your actions. And it's not reputation only for
как я сегодня
high-level officials or bloggers or celebrities.
что
It's also for common people.
партнер,
As I said,
может найти
HRs, partners, teachers can find
составить
things online that will create your portrait.
какой портрет
And
хранится
it's up to you to decide what kind of online portrait you will have. So this is what I'm asking you to do.
Со мной эти полчаса
Thank you for your attention.
на погоду, на прекрасный
Thank you for listening to my presentation during this great EHG 2025 Festival. My name is Veronika Mironova from Inner Stage.
Спасибо, Вероника. 3 вещи.
Give it up for Veronika. And
Структурировано.
that's a very good presentation, very analytical, very structural,
Структура.
very easy to listen to.
Проработанность, когда
So once again, the details and the structure of your presentation is so great and very easy to listen to. And first of all, honestly, I'm so happy that I was a child not during the social media, because well, I was stupid, but I was stupid offline, so people don't really know about this. And I can do this now, but that's a little bit later, 20 years later.
Конечно,
We actually had
действительно, в детстве мы все уязвимы.
that's true. We are very vulnerable when we are children. People don't really control what they do, what they say, and it might
Так что
you might have to pay a lot.
репутация. Обычно
Yes, digital reputation is a good sentence to remember. Usually people will talk about digital education, digital hygiene, but digital reputation is a better phrase. People judge about us by looking at profile, maybe
понятно, что же
finding a few words online.
ты знаешь, для чего ты это делаешь.
I know you understand why you do this and how you do this,
Вторую вещь.
but in general,
Дочери моей,
this is the second point what I get. My
в смысле, да, ну,
daughter turns 10 in 2 weeks.
в прошлом году, в мае прошлого года,
Last year,
сразу после
in May,
когда издал
right after PhD 2024,
деньги, подарил ей хороший смартфон.
I actually used my salary and I bought her a very good smartphone.
Контента от своего
I did not expect the torrent of content from my 9-year-old daughter. So in a few days, I will come home and we will have this very deep and thoughtful discussion with my child. And finally, maybe a single the most important resource.
каждая большая
We just had a panel discussion with different digital companies. They have their own resources and they promoted them. But in your opinion,
и понять, вот
where do you go and you understand, okay, so this is how I should behave online in terms of digital reputation. Where do you go and where do you learn? That's a very good question. And I became an author of a course for school children for the
Про
Cybersecurity 101, where we're talking about cyberbullying, social engineering, social media.
Министерство образования и науки
And
утвердило
basically, this is what the Ministry of Education and Science
там подчеркнуть новые
approved.
темы.
And they say, yes,
И студентам,
there is some value in this course.
Мироновой.
It's a course by Veronika Mironova at Inner Stage.
Такие же свои
Big hit.
10 и 50-летние дети, пожалуйста, все
It works for everyone. If you are 15, if you are 50, it doesn't really matter. You go and you learn there.
Как там в нашей,
And-
значит, русской народной пословице говорится,
How does it go in
нашей, это переведенное, калькулировано.
in different proverbs?
Вот здесь ровно оно, подумай.
You have to, before you take a decision, you have to think 10 times, 100 times, doesn't really matter.